Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another segment of Asaph Cafe. I am your host, Asaph Adonai, and once again, on my immediate left, affectionately, our aging rocker Emmett. And we're on the set of Gilligan's Island. And I feel like, when I look at this beautiful backdrop, I feel like we're stranded with the cast. Did it look like we're stranded?
Oh, yeah.
We're stranded with Mary Ann on the left of the screen, and then Ginger, and of course behind the candelabra is the professor, and then toward his left we have Mr. Thurston Howell III and his lovely wife Lovey Howell III, and then of course you're sitting there in front of Lovey, and then behind you is the skipper, and of course poor Gilligan's not in this shot, but you can't blame Gilligan for being on having this happen. When you watch Gilligan's Island, he's always responsible for stuff going wrong on that show.
I know,
but not on this. Here, figure.
Yeah, if I had to be stranded on an island, it'd be nice to be with these particular castaways. It'd be really fascinating. I can imagine the professor and I've thought about this. I've daydreamed about this. Constantly debating about the existence of God, because I don't know if he was an atheist or agnostic, but probably he and I would be always debating the existence of God, but still being friends.
I'm not laughing at that. I know that God is real, but I just never would have. It would have never dawned on me to even talk about the existence of God being stuck on Gilligan's Island. Oh my goodness! And then debating with the professor.
Yeah, exactly. About the existence of God.
The existence of God. That's pretty cool. But anyway, getting back to this show, and there's the minnow in the background to the USS Minnow is what it's called. And for those who, for whatever reason, may not know, let's talk about the synopsis of this show.
Yeah, first, let's pray.
Oh, go ahead.
God, bless, Lord Heavenly Father, bless our food and our time together in Jesus' name.
Thank you. Yeah, I just would have got sidetracked from the prayer we prayed earlier, but it's good to pray on camera. Anyway, the synopsis of this show, these castaways, before they became castaways, they were on a 3-hour tour. I'm saying this in case there's somebody watching who actually doesn't know. Because you got to remember, Gilligan's Island's about 40, 50 years old?
I know.
So it's a scary thought. So anyway, they were taking a tour, and in the tour, the weather started getting rough. The tiny ship was tossed as, that goes. And it weren't for the courage of the fearless crew, the minnow would be lost. I'm no singer. But those are the words that when the weather started acting up and they wound up stuck on this island here. And that's how the series began. Now this backdrop here, this is when they first were on the island. They were listening to the radio. And of course on the pilot episode, it mentioned their full names, the characters' full names. Which I thought was interesting. And that's how the series started. And then of course it was in black and white originally. And then they started in color, a couple seasons later. And then, of course, for those who don't know, Gilligan's Island, 15 years later, the set of the show, 15 years later, they actually got off the island. Not in real life. We're talking about, for the...
I know, they made a movie of it,
But 15 years went by for real in real life. So that's what made it credible, because we're 15 years older in real life when they went back to the island and they had, what is it, Return to Gilligan's Island?
Yes.
I think Mr. Howell had some resorts, and they were all like huts at resorts and stuff, so that's pretty cool. So pretty good.
Oh yeah, it was hilarious. It is 50 years old because it was in the 60s, so it's 50 years old, yes.
That's the theme of Gilligan's Island. But I just wanted to go over that synopsis in case there's somebody actually watching that's never heard of Gilligan's Island. Because if this show is 50 years old, which is a beautiful backdrop, I can't imagine nobody not knowing Gilligan's Island. But there's going to be somebody out there probably doesn't know. Who has never heard of this show.
I'll be 50 this year in December.
Excuse me. Really?
I'll be 50.
Well, I got you beat by a bunch of years. Because I'm pushing the big 60. You can't believe that.
Wow.
I'll be 60 years old here in about a year and a half.
Amazing.
Ago. Hopefully I won't age too much. But anyway, so you're doing all right, right? Your voice is sounding good and so on.
I'm on allergy shots.
That's
good.
that.
Once a week.
Right.
And I never thought I would look forward to getting shots. I do every week because the only thing that helps my allergy.
Yeah, because we do that new show, that new Lawrence Welk show. I need your voice, you know. But I'm glad you're.
And besides, an allergy attack is so bad you can't even get a glass of soda pop or a glass of beer or eat anything because you're constantly, coughing and blowing your nose. Blowing your nose, and you can't even. Sometimes I can't even get down me a couple of allergy pills because the attacks are so bad. Oh, it's terrible. Spitting them, blowing my nose. It's horrible for about 5 minutes straight or more. That is awful. So the allergy shots are the only thing that have gotten me any relief, but the smoke has not helped my allergies. It's been so smoky and unhealthy with the air quality, and the fires has been terrible.
Montana's been having some issues
with
the elements. First we had that earthquake last month. I was outside when that actually happened, so I saw the whole parking lot shift over.
Like I said, I was asleep, and I was woken up. I thought there was an intruder or something, and grabbed a couple of weapons and just thought, is there an intruder here? Nothing was disturbed. I thought, it must be an earthquake. But then went back to my bedroom. I have a model of the USS Farragut Star Trek on my belt chest. Yeah, and it flipped over onto the ground. It was the only thing that got knocked over.
Okay, yeah. It didn't break, did it?
No. It was already broken anyway in one piece, But how ironic.
Yeah. But that was scary, though, especially being outdoors.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was literally outside and I felt the whole shift, the whole parking lot moving. It was scary.
Because often I'll go to sleep around 10:30, or so at night. I don't really stay up late. I used to when I was a kid, stay up late a lot longer. Sometimes I do.
Yeah.
Not often anymore, just because of old age, Well, if you notice, I've got gray hair now.
That's what happens when you turn 50.
Yeah, and I'm turning 50 this year.
Good for you.
Getting so old. Unbelievable.
I know. Isn't that scary thought?
Oh, yeah.
I decided to play this all the way through. This is called The Prelude in C.
Interesting.
By Bach. Johann Sebastian Bach.
Yep.
There you go. That's Prelude in C.
Yeah, but that'd be interesting to be with the professor because they never talked about God on the show.
Well, they were probably focusing more on the comedy because the creator of this show is also the creator of the Brady Bunch.
Right.
And, some of those other shows, too. So that's probably...
But probably the professor, being analytical, might have been an agnostic. And I, as a Roman Catholic, if I had been stranded with the professor, we would have been debating about God. We still would have been friends, because back then, you could be friends with someone you disagreed with and still be close friends. And I've had that. I've actually had close friends who are atheists or agnostics and debated with them. But he and I would be debating, and we'd be talking about evolution and that kind of thing. And being the professor, he'd be analytical about God. And we'd be on the Gilligan's Island, maybe having coconut milk and debating the existence of God for hours. I mean, nothing else to do on Gilligan's Island.
I know.
And listen to the radio and hope to get rescued. That probably would help him try to get rescued and everything. Gilligan would mess that up, again.
Yeah.
Those elements are just hilarious. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
The Cat in the Cradle. Short version, Cat in the Cradle. But yeah, getting back to this island, could you survive if you were on Gilligan's Island?
Only
able to survive
if I had enough vitamins and minerals. They did, but on a real tropical island.
Yeah, like those reality shows, they drive
you gotta know what
crazy
to do.
Like a couple of days. Imagine being on an island like that for 15 years.
You gotta know what to do. Have you ever seen the show? What was it called? Man vs. Wild with Bear Grylls.
I've heard of it.
Wonderful. He's been on tropical islands like this. You gotta have your know-how and how to know how exactly to survive.
Right.
You gotta know what plants to eat, what plants are poisonous, how not to get jungle rot, in your feet. And if you don't know what you're doing, it can kill you. The jungle can take you like that. If you don't know what, and it's dangerous out there. So if I really were stranded on a desert island, I would want someone like Bear Grylls with me,
Yeah.
Yeah, help me survive and know what to do. It's very difficult, Very difficult.
But yeah, getting back to that question, if you could be on this island, would you be able to survive? Because think about it. The song, the lyrics of it is primitive as can be. Not a single light. Not a single luxury. Like Robinson Crusoe. It's primitive as can be. So if you're on Gilligan's Island, you're not going to have internet. And you're not going to have cable. You're not going to even have television. There's no electricity probably on that island, as you can see. You know, stuff like that. So
amazing.
Just a thought. Just a thought, you know? I don't know.
Also news, I got bifocals.
Oh yeah, good for you.
My vision was kind of going out again a little bit worse, so I had to go to the eye doctor and get some bifocals. So, because reading and my eye quality, the numbers, even reading the Bible, it kind of can get smaller if your eyes age. It kind of gets fuzzy. You can't really read it. So the bifocals are like magnifying glasses for your eyes, so that you can see better. I can even see the watch better.
Good.
And I had a little more depth perception type of thing. You couldn't even see very much peripheral vision, but my depth vision now is a lot better. I can see things a lot more clearly when things are fuzzy because I'm nearsighted. But also I need bifocals for reading, you know. So it's really been a great blessing. Thank you, Lord, again. I've been very happy with the bifocals. I love them.
Country song.
John Denver, Leaving on a Jet Plane. Beautiful. Oh, I love John Denver.
Yeah, I do too. And if you're stuck on the island, you want to have John Denver to sing you some music so you don't go crazy.
Oh yeah, I have a lot of his albums and CDs. It's just beautiful.
And another thing that's fun about this show, the comedians just make fun of this show. The professor, you know, you could take a coconut like MacGyver and turn it into a radio and stuff, but couldn't fix the holes on the ship to take them home. Just food for thought.
Well, he actually
tried on a professor, you know.
He tried on one of the episodes. It was on accident. There was a thing for pancake mix, and it actually did stick and was waterproof. But it turned out it wasn't waterproof. Just at the end, it started falling apart, and they would have been out to sea. So he almost got those holes fixed with this super glue, and it didn't hold for very long.
Yeah, I guess I just didn't see that episode. But
it's one of the earlier ones. I think it's like second or third after this one, the premiere. Yeah, it was funny as heck.
Right. Let's see.
I have it on DVD. I have all the episodes on DVD, you know.
Okay. You know song?
Rolling, rolling, rolling. Is that it? Don't know.
Let me do it again.
Rolling, rolling. What?
Rawhide.
Don't know it.
That's the name of the song.
Oh. Rawhide to what?
No, I mean that song.
Oh, yeah, the television program.
Yeah,
Rawhide.
It's Rawhide. It may have another title, but I know it by the title Rawhide.
Yeah, I never watched Rawhide. I don't care much for westerns.
You know, I have to agree with you. The westerns were not really my favorite. Think about it. When you watch westerns, everybody's carrying a gun in real life on those shows. Imagine where our society would be for real if people were packing guns like you see on the Rifleman and then
I feel a lot safer myself if you could be opening it. If I could I'd feel a lot safer myself.
But no, you know what I'm saying. It would be more anarchy probably because like you watch these westerns and everybody's got a bad personality.
Yeah, that's true.
They're always like wanting to fight and shoot and drink and mess with the women, and it's just horrible. And so just think if in our culture everybody was packing like in these westerns.
The only thing, sociopaths, I don't want to get political here.
No, I understand that,
but psychopaths fear other people with guns, so it's a protection against the sociopaths.
And I understand, but see, they're not doing that for protection necessarily in these westerns. They're just doing it because it's a western and use Roy Rogers mentality, you know, and all that. And I like Roy Rogers.
Yeah, I've discussed this before. The only western I liked was Wild Wild West, and even I think I've outgrown that show. It kind of bored me after a while. I've seen but I liked that show. It's on MeTV still, thankfully. So that was a fun show. I liked that as a kid. That's the closest to western I've ever come. You know, that was a kind of a cool show.
Something like that.
Yeah, that was a cool show.
Yeah, that still comes on.
Yep.
You know, that show was more science gadgetry and fiction.
And that's part of the reason I liked
it. You know, it's in the Western time.
Yeah.
but it was more. They had like more gadgets, almost science fiction-y. If I had to describe the Wild Wild West,
a cross between science fiction and a western.
Yeah,
that's why it worked.
Yeah, and the actor Robert Conrad that played Jim West, he was just always beating up bad guys.
Oh yeah, it was really cool.
My goodness, and getting into situations, and I also liked what was his associate that was on the show?
I don't remember his name.
Ross Martin is the actor. Artemis Gordon.
Yeah, that's right.
And he used to master of disguise. He could disguise himself, and
I remember that.
It was just such a fun show.
Yeah, it was.
I used to watch that show. See how it played again.
Battlestar Galactica is on at 6 o'clock, and I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I don't know how to play Battlestar.
There's only one thing
Galactica
that I'm upset with. It's on at 6 o'clock opposite the Lawrence Welk Show. I haven't been able to see the Lawrence Welk Show for a while because on MeTV, it's battle time for Battlestar Galactica, you know.
Well, I think more people would probably, not to pick on Lawrence Welk, but I think more people will want to watch Battlestar Galactica.
I love them both. Why can't, Lawrence, they have it at 7 o'clock or so?
Well, maybe the MTV, the MeTV network doesn't know because, you got to remember the shows that we see are Montana time, whereas they're normally scheduled.
Yeah, that's a good point,
East Coast time, I think.
Yeah.
So that's probably why.
Because I love still a Lawrence Welk Show, but ever since Battlestar Galactica, I just watch Battlestar Galactica at 6 o'clock. Yeah, unless I'm doing something else,
I don't blame you. Wow, time is really, really breezy.
Yeah, and I have almost all the episodes on videotape when I was on the Sci-Fi Network, so... But I still love Battlestar Galactica like I did when I was a kid. Because I was a Battlestar Galactica fanatic when I was 11. It's like, oh, Battlestar Galactica! And at first, I did not like Battlestar Galactica.
Really?
When I first saw the pilot, the 3-hour pilot, of course, it's 2 hours. With the commercials, it was 3 hour, and I was excited to see it. I didn't understand it. It was too much like Star Wars, but not enough like Star Wars. I didn't understand. The Viper fighter pilots come out with a trail like a rocket ship.
Right.
I didn't understand the Cylons. They looked like other versions of Darth Vader, and it just didn't make any sense. And I thought, I'm turning this off. This is too weird. Too weird. I don't understand it. Watched it for a few minutes. I decided after a couple of weeks I'd give it another chance just to make sure I still didn't like it. And I was hooked. 2 weeks later, I finally got it and it just clicked with me. Hey, this is not a bad show if you open your mind to something new. And a new type of science fiction or space opera or space war type of thing. Because I was only used to Star Wars. I like this. And then actually, I loved it. Yeah, I loved this. I was hooked ever since, Absolutely hooked. And I had Battlestar Galactica toys, I had the picture books. I just had so much of Battlestar Galactica. I was a Battlestar Galactica fanatic, Yeah, but I just loved Battlestar Galactica. Played Battlestar Galactica. Everything was Battlestar Galactica to me, And of course, all the other science fiction they had. I was still a huge science fiction buff, but you should have seen me as a kid. 24-hour science fiction. Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah. That's the best I think I've done that nocturne so far.
And I drank a lot of soda pop,
Yeah, I know. I used to drink a lot of soda too when I was growing up, and I just like, oh boy, I better cool it. I'll have some secret ingredient now. Once in a while won't hurt. Well, let's explain that joke to the audience in case there's somebody watching Cafe. What the secret ingredient joke is.
Yes.
Even though we're on Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
Anyway, our secret ingredient, this joke came from Star Trek V. Star Trek has done a bunch of movies. Captain Kirk was on shore leave with Dr. McCoy and
Mr. Spock.
Mr. Spock. And Dr. McCoy was making some beans.
Yep.
And he poured Tennessee whiskey in the beans without telling Spock what it was. And Dr. McCoy says, Spock, if you thumb your Vulcan nose up at these beans, you'll be insulting generations of McCoys. And so Spock's like, okay, I'll have to have your beans. So Spock is gobbling up the beans like, I've never tasted beans like this before. He's like getting all analytical and everything. Wanting to know what the secret is. And Dr. McCoy says, well, the secret ingredient is Tennessee whiskey, Spock. Am I to assume that your beans is alcohol? And McCoy says, yeah.
Yep.
That's the secret ingredient. And Captain Kirk says, you got any more of that secret ingredient?
Yep. Yep.
That's how that joke started. So, of course, we have Pepsi. So
yeah, it's not alcohol. It's not.
No,
not
we just
alcohol,
borrowed that joke
exactly
from Star Trek 5. So when you hear him and I talking about the secret ingredient, that's where it came from. I wanted to talk about the weather a little bit too. We've had, like we mentioned it earlier, we had an earthquake here in Montana about a month or so ago, which literally shook the ground.
Oh yeah.
And it was very frightening. Very heavy earthquake too. I think it was like 5 point on the Richter scale.
Yeah. Well, that was in the epicenter where ours was.
But I mean, it
out,
shook. Because like I said, as I stated earlier, I was literally outside. I was sitting out, and it's like 12:30 in the morning, 12:35 in the morning. I was sitting on the staircase where I live, and the whole thing was just rocking and moving, so I could see the parking lot just shifting, and it was scary.
Yeah.
And my first thought was, man, is Jesus coming?
Yeah.
And so, and then they had a second one a few minutes later.
Yeah.
And I went inside, and what I did was I checked my gas pipes, stuff like that, because with the shaking, you want to make sure like no gas is seeping out. And of course, in my case, everything was cool. And scared my next door neighbor so bad. She came over and she was frightened.
Yeah.
And I was watching the news, and they were interrupting, not interrupting the news, but they had a little news flash going on there. And now we've got these awful fires going on, like in the Lolo area.
Oh yeah, we do.
And it's awful. It's hard to breathe. And I sympathize with the people that live out in those areas. It's beautiful seeing when you're out there, but boy, when you get a fire breakout, it's just horrible.
It is.
So we've been having some fire issues here lately, and prayers are going up to heaven that these families will be safe and the air will be.
We ought to pray for more rain,
Yeah, and people have been. In fact, on I think on one of the Christian stations, they were praying about that. That morning, YNOP radio, they were talking about that, and they had a prayer thing for that. I mentioned that before. They pray every morning, just for about a minute or two, around 9:30. So this one particular morning, they mentioned the fires, and they prayed over that, and that was pretty cool.
Wonderful.
I happened to be listening to that, and I got in on that prayer, because for people, when you think of Montana, you think of the greenery and all that. You don't think of fires necessarily. We're being plagued with that right now, so it's horrible.
Yeah, it is.
To breathe.
Yeah.
The smoke is blocking the mountain scenery.
Oh yeah.
It's just horrible. So we just pray safety for the firefighters and that the air will go. A couple days ago, I asked the good Lord to blow the smoke out into outer space. I know that sounds crazy, but
that's wonderful.
I did. I asked God to, it was something like the middle of the night, which technically the Lord could.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I thought
I'd just hover over the planet and just blow that smoke out into outer space.
I thought, I don't know if maybe it was just my imagination or I was half asleep, but I was trying to get to sleep again. It was about 10:30. I was half asleep. I thought I felt a mini tremor.
You might have, because we had a few mini tremors after the two main earthquakes we had.
This was just a couple of days ago.
It's possible. And another thing too, speaking of that, I could have sworn I felt like an ash. Ashes like that came out of the sky?
Yes.
I could have sworn I felt one that just breezed by my head.
Yeah, I saw a couple of them, not many, a couple of nights ago, about a few nights ago, I felt a mini tremor. I thought maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Yeah, it could have been just tiny, very slight, not like the other earthquake we had, but just a tiny. I thought, well, are we getting another earthquake again? Oh, great,
Yeah.
But yeah, because I was in my bed. The bed shit just it's kind of just one of those things. Oh, great, here we go.
Yeah, I hear you. But I hope they can fix this problem soon.
Yeah.
Because we're not known for fires in this state. We're known for the incredible beauty. And I hate to see that beauty tarnished,
Yeah, definitely.
Or burned down.
I love sleeping. I often sleep 10 or 11 hours a night, or 9 or 10, I love sleeping and love dreaming,
Yeah, me too.
I have quite vivid dreams.
You want to talk about some of your dreams?
I would. I've had some extremely vivid. I even have a few dream diaries. Some of them are too personal to share, too dramatic, too disturbing. But some dreams I can share, because I'm a Roman Catholic, I would go to Mass a lot.
Okay.
I've had dreams where I thought it was Christmas Day. I've shown up to Christmas Day Mass, and it's mid-Lent, or the beginning of Lent, and I hadn't even done Lenten penances. I thought it's I thought it was Christmas Day. Now we're in mid-Lent. I haven't done anything. I don't get it. One time I dreamed I was at one of my relatives' place, and we had been doing some other things, and it was so close to Christmas Day Mass at noon. And Christmas Day for the Catholics is a holy day of obligation.
Yeah.
I didn't want to miss the church service, the Mass. So I had to run as fast as my legs could take me. Run to the St. Mary's in Stevensville, and I just got through the doors in time, and it took me about 3 minutes to run as fast as I can several miles.
And that was in your dream, huh?
Mm-hmm. But I made it to church on time.
Good for you.
That kind of thing.
Good for you. Wow.
Or I'm going to Mass, or a lot of that, or I've had science fiction dreams even about Star Trek or Star Wars or something like that. Oh yeah, okay. I've had a lot of dreams. I've had a very dramatic. I was fighting, the celestial or something, and I was just fighting and blasting everything, and of course Star Trek was on just the whole Star Trek credit. Like that at the end, and we're fighting. It was brilliant,
Well, I'll play that for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember Jar Jar Binks from Star Wars?
Yes, I do.
I hated Jar Jar Binks, folks. If you remember The Phantom Menace, I hated Jar Jar Binks. Now, for any fans of you who love Jar Jar Binks, I hope this dream doesn't upset you. But I had a dream Jar Jar was doing a Jar Jar rap and an Egyptian, just some sort of rap music and just doing Jar Jar stuff. And Darth Vader went and killed him, and I was going, and he was screaming, oh! And then I blasted him with laser cannons out in outer space. And then, Jar Jar Binks, oh! And then, do you remember The Simpsons?
Yeah.
Well, Krusty the Clown went on his show and says, Jar Jar's dead! And all the kids were cheering, yay!
Oh,
and
goodness.
then it was the Star Wars theme song at when they were celebrating with the Ewoks finale. Dun dun dun, and they were dancing with the Ewoks. Jar Jar's dead! And there was a Star Wars theme credit. It was a cool dream. Yep.
Boy, you better watch what you eat before you go to bed.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe you better eat some Wheaties or something.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Those guys have vivid dreams like that, and that was a cool dream,
Well, yeah, dreams are so funny.
Yeah. That was almost be more like a fandom thing. If you've ever seen Jar Jar, you either love Jar Jar or you hate Jar Jar. One of the two. I couldn't stand Jar Jar. I don't know what you guys think on the TV land or computer land, but I couldn't stand Jar Jar. Yeah. I had another dream along those lines where they did a lot better Star Wars Episode 1. I was directing it. I did the first movie, I remade the first movie, and it was really slow, but it was a lot better. They were to these giant battleships, just firing lasers at each other, and it was something across the skies. And I don't remember how, but I was able to get it more lasers, more science fiction oriented. Right. It was called Star Wars. Episode 1 was called Star Wars Iron.
Right.
Just Star Wars Iron. Yeah, I have that written down, like the Iron Menace or something. That would have been a lot better. I just thought they tried to make the first Star Wars, the Star Wars Episode 1, the Phantom Menace, too comedic, and they didn't have enough science fiction, if you know what I mean. Right, there was too much comedy, and it wasn't serious enough, and I didn't like Jar Jar. And they tried to make it too G-rated, and it really drove me up the wall, If they had cut out Jar Jar and made it more serious, I would have liked it better,
Here's a short version of Simpsons.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know how to play that.
A lot of other people couldn't stand Jar Jar as well, but I couldn't stand Jar Jar.
Yeah.
Actually, at my old place when I was on 5th, we used to have free cable and free HBO. They had The Phantom Menace on HBO.
Well, I didn't actually see those Star Wars movies.
You're missing nothing.
Well, no, perhaps, but I mean, after the first 3, that was enough for me.
Okay, you didn't see the prequels.
No, I didn't. The last one I saw was Return of the Jedi, and that was...
Yeah. Well, on this one, they had The Phantom Menace on. I decided to cut out all the boring parts and keep the parts that were good. I had a VCR that was working and a videotape that was working. And I recorded it and just paused it when it was boring or Jar Jar came on, and
Okay. Oh, I see.
and I did an edited version of my own that I thought was almost okay.
Oh, okay.
That
Through
was
your VCR, huh?
Yeah, exactly. There's only one of those prequels I liked, and that was Revenge of the Sith. That was a good movie, where Anakin finally became Darth Vader. That was a good film. It wasn't.
I'm not saying don't watch Star Wars. I know it's a big, popular movie. I just hadn't seen those yet.
I did not like The Phantom Menace. Well, Attack of the Clones was a little better, but still not very good. And even Revenge of the Sith doesn't hold up to 4, 5, and 6. You know, New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Now remember this other Episode 7, Dark Force Awakens, or The Force Awakens, or the Dark...
I know of it, but like I said, I hadn't seen it.
I can't even remember what it was called, The Force Awakens, or The Dark Force Rising, or something. It was an awful film.
Okay.
I thought it was... I would rather see The Phantom Menace than that. It was that because it was just a remake of Star Wars A New Hope.
Right.
Here's what it was. It was a thing where they had the Empire again, but it wasn't the Empire. The beginnings of a new Empire with a new type of Darth Vader.
Right.
And there was a new rebellion. It was called the Resistance. There was another droid like R2-D2.
Okay.
There was some return, another Han Solo. And basically, there was a new Death Star, but it was a huge planet. And the X-Wings were attacking that new one. And there was another little tiny thing with this new planet Death Star that it could be destroyed.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, they even had Han Solo and Princess Leia. They were much older, and there was nothing new in it. And when the X-Wings were attacking the new Death Star, please pray, Lord, please don't use X-Wings to attack that new Death Star and everything. Oh, Lord, no. This is a terrible film. I can't believe how awful this is. Because it was just a slap-together remake of some of the older films and with some of the older books. And I was unimpressed. Nothing new about it. It was such a dismal repeat. Basically a remake of Star Wars, but it wasn't near as good. It was just like something slapped together, thinking that the audience wouldn't notice. It was, on a scale of 1 to 10, The Force Awakens was a 1. Oh. And the other Star Wars, 4, 5, and 6, to me were all 10s.
Really?
Yeah. I love, A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. On a scale of 1 to 10, they were all 10s. They were excellent. The Force Awakens, whatever that was called, number 7, was a 1. And of course, the one with Jar Jar Binks, The Phantom Menace, that was also a 1. And let's see how I would describe the second one, Attack of the Clones. That was a 5 on a scale of 1 to 10. Revenge of the Sith was a 7. That was a 7 for me. So, what do you think, guys? Isn't that fascinating? But I still love the concept of Star Wars, and I would play with my Star Wars action figures as a kid in my Star Wars spaceship toys. It was fascinating. It makes me want to spin in a drawer the concept of Star Wars, and I got the Star Wars box. What do you think, people? Isn't that fascinating?
I'm just playing some music while you're doing it.
There were these 2 washing machines, and they went to see Star Wars. Yeah, the new Star Wars movie, and I did like the new one they had. That was what was that called? The one before, the one where they had to find the plans for the Death Star, and now I don't. Rogue One. There were these 2 washing machines, and they went to see Star Wars Rogue One, which I would again give a 10. I would give that a 10. That was fascinating. And they were sticking their tongues out at it. So this one dryer came along and said, "Oh, I can't see around that." So he went home screaming about algebraic equations. Ha ha ha! Wasn't that hilarious?
Now, while you were talking about Star Wars, I was playing some James Brown and some Brandon Heath.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. When you rewind the tape, you'll probably notice it.
Yeah, I don't know James Brown or Heath. Yeah, I don't know.
The soul of Godfather, so the guy that did the song, I Feel Good.
Oh, vaguely. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, I was doing some of his music while you were talking.
Yeah.
And you were just giving me these ideas.
Yep.
You know what I want to talk about now?
What?
While we have some time? Let's do a small little tribute. Glenn Campbell.
Oh, yes! Rhinestone Cowboy. Oh, yeah.
Let me play that for you. Christmas song. Keep listening. You'll recognize it in a moment. Let me keep playing. Here it comes.
Oh yeah, like a rhinestone cowboy. I'll never be able to get that out of my head. They played that to death so much in the 70s. Yeah, I'll never get that out of my head, yep.
We'll do a little tribute to him. I'm sorry, but
yeah.
Let me do it. Do it. This is the verse part.
Yes.
Pretty cool song, you know?
Yeah, it's alright. They played it to death so much that I never really cared for the song. They played it so much in the 70s, if you listen to the radio, you couldn't escape it.
Uh-huh.
He was a one-hit wonder, actually, is what he was.
Oh, no.
Really, he wasn't?
Are you kidding me? Glenn Campbell? This man had his own television show.
I did not know that.
Well, this is probably before your time, too.
Huh.
No, he had a show called the Glenn Campbell Variety Hour. It was
Did
like
not
the
know
Dean
that.
Martin show. I used to watch that as a kid growing up.
Well, all I remember...
It was a hit. It was a big hit. And then he did all those other songs.
Yeah.
Besides Rhinestone Cowboy.
Huh, I did not know that.
Oh, yeah.
I did not know that.
Awards up to the ears. He even did that movie, True Grit, with John Wayne.
Did not know that. But then again, I wasn't back when I was a kid.
Time.
Yeah.
Remember, this is when he was young, too. And
yeah, when I was a kid, I really wasn't up on country music, you know.
I know. I understand. I'm not really a big fan of country music either. But
I love modern country music. But I wasn't. I was 10 years old.
But
I wasn't.
there are certain artists that stand out in the country world, like Johnny Cash.
Oh yeah, Johnny Cash, of course.
You say country music,
you
look
think
up the
Johnny
dictionary, there's Johnny Cash. Glenn Campbell, I think, fits in that.
Interesting.
So I wanted to do this little tribute to Glenn Campbell on the cafe while we're on Gilligan's Island. Yeah, he was a fantastic singer.
Interesting.
Oh my goodness! You know how many people watch the Glenn Campbell show?
No, I never knew of it.
It was like an hour-long comedy variety show.
Because I remember Hee Haw. I loved Hee Haw as a kid.
Oh, the Glenn Campbell show, I think, was way more popular than Hee Haw.
Whoa, because I thought Hee Haw ruled on the television. I thought everyone loved Hee Haw.
No, they did, but I'd have to go with Glenn Campbell. I'd have to say, I think his show was probably one of the #1 variety shows of the 60s, I believe it was, when it came out.
Oh, the 60s. No, I never would have remembered it. Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
Like that. I don't remember the year. But no, Glenn Campbell.
Because I loved Hee Haw. I even have some episodes of Hee Haw at home.
And he was also known as the man with the perfect hair. I'm talking about as a young man. And of course, this man has done concerts all over the place, you know.
I remember the Marty Robbins show. I never watched it, but in the 70s they had the Marty Robbins.
I remember, Marty Robbins had a show. Dolly Parton had a show.
Yeah, Dolly Parton. I remember Dolly Parton.
I think there was one other country singer that had a show. But Glenn Campbell's was more family oriented, I think.
Interesting.
In comparison. Not that the others weren't family shows. Yeah, you'll have to probably look it up on YouTube.
Interesting.
Glenn Campbell show, yeah. Variety Hour, I think it was what it was called.
Yeah. They used to have a lot of variety shows in those days.
Yeah, they had the Dean Martin show, they had the Carol Burnett show, they had the Hee Haw, they had, all these shows, but I think Glenn Campbell's was probably the one that...
Interesting, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Well, no wonder they did a track. Yeah, interesting.
They had the Sonny and Cher show too.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, they had
Donnie and Marie show.
Donnie and Marie.
I remember that in the 70s.
Yeah, and stuff like that. So they don't make variety shows like that much anymore. Andy Williams too stood out. The singer.
Don't remember.
River.
Don't remember. No.
Well, just probably for your time, but he got so popular that every Christmas they would have what was called an Andy Williams Christmas special. And I looked forward to watching his shows. It was like a variety Christmas show that it came on once a year, And he did it for like, God, I don't know, 20 years, something like that. Maybe.
Interesting.
It was pretty cool, Andy Williams show. What a voice that guy had. Singing Moon River. Makes you wonder how many times in his lifetime he sang that song. He has sang that song probably a zillion times in his career.
Who knows? Who knows? I like Moon River because it's been on the easy listening station. It's been on Lawrence Welk. Oh yeah, that's a.
Well, everybody's done it, yeah. But Andy Williams I think that's his signature song, you know. And I looked forward to his Christmas shows every year. They were so fun. Just like Charlie Brown.
I know.
Grinch.
Yeah.
You remember the Grinch?
Oh yeah, definitely.
All those cartoons. I always enjoyed watching those cartoons every year.
Yeah, definitely. I know it's been on the easy listening station instrumentals, and I've changed the lyrics to spin, dryer, spin inside the dryer. We're spinning inside the dryer. We dance in the dryer all day. And I'm doing my dishes while singing spin, dryer. The spin dryer spin for us today. And I just do the dishes while singing about spin dryer. Spin for us today. It's fascinating like algebra.
You'll do Andy Williams proud.
Yep. Spin.
And here's the conclusion.
The dryer. For us today. It's been inside the dryer. It's been inside the dryer today.
And that's Moon River.
I just discovered.
Andy Williams.
I discovered I don't like grapefruit juice.
Well, I don't know how fresh that grapefruit juice is. It was in the refrigerator there.
Oh.
You know, speaking of grapefruit juice.
Do you want some or?
Oh, no, thank you. What my mother used to do when I was a kid, she would take a grapefruit and cut it in half and sprinkle sugar on it.
Yeah.
To get me to eat it. And of course, it was good that way.
I can see what.
I don't know if you put sugar in this stuff here. Usually, this brand of grapefruit juice is pretty good. But that's probably been sitting in the refrigerator for a while.
Maybe it went stale or something.
Yeah, because it's a TV studio, you know.
Wait, it sells. Sell by September 20th, year 2017. September 2017.
It's probably been just sitting in and out of the refrigerator.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of a little flat. But you know, other than that.
Well, it tasted bitter.
Yeah, probably. Well, just drink some of that secret ingredient for that bitter taste.
Yeah. I've run out, so I don't think I'll open another can. Do you want some or?
Oh, no, I'm good. I'm good. We're going to be running out of time in about 5 or 6 more.
Well, that's perfect. I don't have time to drink another soda.
Yeah. Yeah, time has gone by here. And I'd like the topics. But getting back to Glenn Campbell, he just was blessed. And the world was fun having him around.
Yeah.
And, that sort of thing. So I don't know if anyone in Glenn Campbell's family will ever see this, but Em and I, we just want to give a quick tribute to Glenn Campbell.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He's gone now. He's home with the Lord. I think he lived to be, 81, 82, something?
Don't know.
Something like that, yeah.
I wonder if he was a Christian, or if he knew
I think he was.
Good.
I think he was. I know history doesnn say much, but I've heard, I was listening to Jay Sekulow, and Jay Sekulow, you know, the radio guy, was talking about Glenn Campbell when we first lost him. He mentioned Glenn Campbell's faith.
That's good. That happens, yeah.
So that tells me that perhaps
that's good.
May have been a Christian. You know, a lot of these people in Hollywood are Christians, but you just wouldn't know it because they don't really talk about it. Because of what they're known for. Like singing and acting, but you'd be surprised how many people. Let's see, we're almost out of time. I want to play a nice little praise song here. Let me do it again. You know this song?
Don't really.
Oh, okay.
It sounds very nice.
It is. It's a beautiful song. I know I'm going brain dead here. I'm having a brain dead moment. Probably too much secret ingredient. Let's see if I can remember the name of that song. Lord, I lift your name on high.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, yes, Lord, I lift your name. Yeah, it's a nice song. That's a very nice song. Oh, yeah.
You recognize it?
Yes, now I do, yes.
I'll play it.
Yep, very nice.
You know, that praise music is some beautiful music.
Oh, it is.
I'm like really like it. I keep my radio on 24 hours a day, even when I'm not home, on the Christian station, YNOP Christian station, and I just find comfort, you know, listening to that music. It's good music, stuff like that. Maybe one day we'll do a cafe. We'll talk about praise music.
That's a great idea. I think that's a very good idea.
Yeah, talk about just.
I think that's a wonderful idea.
Play some praise music. This is a lot of fun. Brandon Heath is one of my favorites. I don't know much about him, but what a voice. Man, like this song, Behold Our God. Man, that guy can sing.
Wonderful.
And Lauren Daigle, I don't know if you know.
Don't know him.
She's got some pretty cool songs. All those artists, they're and you know, these people are professional people.
Yep.
I mean, these people are winning Grammys. And Lauren Daigle was on a Good Morning America singing that praise stuff.
Oh, wonderful.
Like, wow. Yeah. I mean, on Good Morning America of all shows. So God's on the move, you know.
Yeah, oh yeah.
God's working. You get that praise song out there on regular television, that's pretty cool. In fact, some of those have already been in commercials too.
Wonderful.
I've seen some commercials where they've been using some of the music.
Well, that's wonderful.
Stuff like that, yeah, stuff. But yeah, I like Lauren Daigle. That young lady can sing.
Yeah.
She's what, about 20, 21, something like that, just in her prime. You have any favorite praise singers or gospel singers?
I really don't. I just like the old standard Catholic hymns, and even some old Protestant hymns like To Jesus Christ, Our Sovereign King, or The Church's One Foundation, or my favorite hymn of all, of course, Jesus Christ is Risen Today, you know.
Let's see if I can remember that.
I love that. Is that a Protestant hymn or a Catholic hymn? I can't, because the Catholic Church always sings that on Easter Sunday. That's my favorite hymn.
That's all I know on that. That was part of it there.
Just love it. Oh yeah.
But yeah, we'll talk about praise music on a cafe show. It'll be a lot of fun. Well, we covered quite a bit of topics today on this cafe.
Oh yes.
And I'm gonna do something I normally don't do.
What?
I want to give God some glory at the end of this show here. Lord, thank you for the 2 interviews we did today and this cafe. And I am asking that God get all the glory. To God alone be all glory and honor. In Christ's name.
Amen. Yep.
Isn't that cool? And God can get glory on Gilligan's Island.
Yep. Oh, yes.
Just like you could talk to the professor about the existence of God.
Exactly.
Imagine what that would have been like. I'm talking about the character.
Yeah, that would be exciting. Oh, yeah.
Because, you know, television history doesn't say what the professor's beliefs are, but it would have been most interesting.
It would have been. Oh, yes.
Debate the professor on the existence of God.
Yep.
You can just use your imagination.
Oh, definitely.
Stuff like that. But this show left such a great legacy.
It did.
In a sense. I know the humor is probably silly by today's standards.
That's why I love it. Oh, yeah.
But this show is going to probably go down in history as one of the most remembered shows of the past.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I think. Eventually people will forget this show, but in the meantime...
oh, yeah.
Because this whole generation, these actors are gone now, except for the...
It's even on Meat TV still, but they've cut so much out of it. I just prefer to watch my DVDs of it. Yeah. You know, they cut so much out, it just drives me crazy. But I even they've cut some out of Alf, too. I even got my Alf DVDs. I got them in the mail. But I'm a little bit disappointed because they did cut important scenes out, even from the pilot episode.
DVDs?
Yes, I'm very disappointed.
Huh. Wow. Well, maybe we'll talk about television pilots one day.
Oh, yeah, we will.
Any final words you want to say? Because we're out of time.
Let's see. Did you hear about the chicken who went into the hardware store? There was this chicken that went into the hardware store. And he was talking to the clerks at the hardware store. And the hardware clerk said, would you want to look at the wall? And the chicken said, no, I don't want to look at the wall, stare at the wall. I want an enchilada. Ha, ha, ha.
All right, we'll quit on that note there. I am Asaph Adonai. We're on Gilligan's Island here, and this was so fun doing this particular show with the castaways. And all right, before we hang on, can you name them all again?
Yeah, that's Marianne, that's Ginger, and of course the professor. That's Mr. and Mrs. Hell, and that's of course the skipper, whatever the skipper's name was.
Yeah. So anyway, that's good. Okay, you're up on your Gilligan's Island there. I am Asaph Adonai, your host, and affectionately on my left, our aging rocker Emmett. So until our next show, Maranatha. Beautiful.
Yep.
Well, make yourself at home till I shut everything down. I'll make you a copy of this.